So how do we change a fraction into a percentage? Basically, you're going to take the fraction, turn it into a decimal, and then take the decimal and turn it into a percent. So here's the basic rules so you can see it. And now let's take a look at a few different ones. For example, how would you change 1/4 into a percentage? Well, how do we change it into a decimal? Basically, you would take the top number and divide it by the bottom number. So 4 goes into 10 twice. Make sure you put the decimal there in front of it. We have 2 left over. 4 goes into 25 times. So 1/4 will equal 0.25. And then if you've watched the other lessons there, essentially anytime you have a decimal, if you want to make it to a percent, you just move the decimal over 2 times. And so 0.25 or 25 hundredths becomes 25%. Now let's take a look at 2 other examples. 16/20ths, I could divide 16 by 20 right now. It wouldn't be any problem at all. However, I noticed that I can simplify it, so let's do that first. That gets it to 4/5, so let's go ahead and divide 4 by 5. We see it's 0.8 or 8/10, and now we just have to move the decimal 2 spots to the right, and 8/10 suddenly becomes 80%. Those are easier examples. You can always have a decimal and a percentage, and it can be repeating if you run into a situation like that, like let's just say 4/9. And so then when you run into that repeating situation, you still move the decimal 2 spots, but then you have to remember that the 4s are going to go on regardless of whether it's a percent or a decimal. So this is the same thing as a bunch of 4s after that decimal, and I'm just going to trail that off there. When it comes time to move it, please understand that, yeah, you'll move it 2 spots, and that will become 44, but you're still going to have that decimal sitting right there for those 2 spots, and it's still going to be the 4s continuing, so it would be 44.4%. And if you run into a mixed number, all you really need to do is go through and multiply the whole number by the denominator, that'd be 24, and then add the numerator, that would be plus 6, so it would become 30 over the original denominator of 8. And so now you can take the 30 and divide it by 8, and that would let you be able to turn it into decimal, and you can convert that to a percent. So let me pause that and show you what it looks like. If you're watching it, just pause the video and do this at home. And now we've got 3 and 75 hundredths. Move the decimal 2 spots to the right, and we're left with 375%.